So a lot of places when you're looking, it's like, hey, what are you looking for? What is your wish list? When I first started looking for places, I had no idea. I was just like, I don't really know. Hello guys, it's Jasmine, and for today's video, I thought it would be super fun to discuss everything about moving out of your parents' home. It has officially been a year since I have rented my first apartment, and I'm in the process of moving into my second, and reflecting and kind of being on the market again to look for an apartment. I thought of everything that I wish I would have known when I was first moving out, and I thought it could be helpful to someone else out there to let you guys know everything. So without further ado, please keep watching and I will share all of my expertise with you, which is not that much, but I still hope it helps. So a lot of places when you're looking and you're going to be like, hi, I'm interested in a unit, they're going to say, okay, what are you looking for? What is your wish list? When I first started looking for places, I had no idea. I was just like, I don't really know. Do you like my getup? I know I look super extra because I just filmed a makeup tutorial. Whenever it's done, I will link it right here or in the description box below. So I took a bunch of notes because I tend to get a little overwhelmed with my thoughts and I can very easily ramble off topic. So I'm hoping that these notes will keep me on track and keep me focused. But there's just so much to talk about in terms of moving out, so bear with me. Hopefully I can put in and just skip ahead. Alright, so the first thing, let's start from the very beginning. You are sitting in your parents' home and you're like, you know what, I cannot live here anymore. So basic requirements. You don't need it, but it will be very helpful to have a credit score. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I think the easiest way to get a credit score is to open up a credit card. Don't go crazy spending on it. You know, just use it on your little purchases, pay it off right away, and you will get a credit score. If either you don't have a good score or if you don't have a score at all, a good way to go about it is to get a cosigner or a roommate who has a good score. Credit score is everything in terms of moving out on your own. It's how everyone, like the car dealerships, how your apartment manager, how financial agents, whether it's talking about furniture or jewelry or big purchases, that's how they could tell if you are trustworthy and if you will pay them back. So credit score is a big one. Your income. Most places will require, the general rule of thumb is 3 times the rent is what they require. So for example, $1,000 per month apartment that you're looking at, and you're like, okay, I want to buy this. If you want to rent it on your own, you have to make at least $3,000 a month before taxes are taken out. And if you do not make that much, then you'll have to find a roommate or a cosigner that is willing to take the fall for it if you don't pay your rent. Something to keep in mind of income, it should be something that you could prove. So when I first was looking to move out, I didn't really have a full-time job. I did like nannying, things like that on the side. Luckily, Shota, my now husband, makes enough to cover the whole place for us. Even though I made money, I didn't have to prove it because he got us approved with his income, if that makes sense. Last thing is age. I know where I live in the state of Washington, you have to be 18. I think most places are 18, but definitely check what the law is in your state because, you know, first step of moving out, you want to make sure that you can do that legally. Alright, now that you have the credit, the income, and you're old enough, or you're like, yes, let's get started, where can I live? So a good place online to find a place is apartments.com. There's Zillow, kind of sketchy, but you can try Craigslist. Online definitely is your biggest resource. So just Google your city apartments and then take a look. Be very careful of frauds though. A lot of websites are really cool about this. They'll put a little warning if it seems really sketchy, and if I'm looking online and I see that warning, I don't even bother like looking at the listing. Alright, next we're going to talk about your wish list / budget. So I know I talked about the 3-time rule already. You want to definitely stay in that, okay, getting ahead of myself. So you definitely want to take the total income of everyone that's going to be living in the unit, so you and your roommates if you have them, divide that by 3, and that's how much you want to be spending on your rent maximum. Remember, rent is not the only thing you're going to have to be paying for, so you definitely don't want to be spending more than you can afford on the place. So a lot of places when you're looking and you're going to be like, hi, I'm interested in a unit, they're going to say, okay, what are you looking for? What is your wish list? When I first started looking for places, I had no idea. I was just like, I don't really know. I've never had an apartment, so I don't know what I'm looking for. So let's just talk about that right now. Your wish list. Some things to think about. Definitely budget, number one. And number of rooms. If you have a roommate and, you know, sure does my roommate, but I wouldn't really consider him like a traditional roommate because we could just share a room. So definitely room wasn't an issue. One thing that you're definitely going to want to know, you're going to want to go into that leasing office saying, we definitely want a 2-bedroom apartment or 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom, whatever, studio. Except sharing a studio with roommates does not sound ideal in my opinion. How many bathrooms do you want? Do you want your guests to use the same ones that you use? Do you want a separate hallway bathroom? Do you want one in the room? Some things to think about. Closet space. Some will have a walk-in closet. Some will have a tiny closet. Some won't even have a closet at all. So definitely think about if that is important to you. Size or square footage. In my opinion, the number isn't really that important. What's important is the layout. So a lot of the websites, like apartments.com or Zillow, they'll show you like a floor plan. So definitely look at that and think about like how logical it is. Because the apartment we live in right now, the freaking bedroom, okay, the bedroom's pretty big. The closet is pretty big. But it shares the hallway of the bathroom and like the laundry room. Everything is like this. It's really crammed. And so if you're trying to open one door and trying to open another door, you have to close the door and then open the other door. It's like really dumb, the layout. And I didn't even think about that when I was looking at the place. I was like, oh my god, it's so big. Look how big the closet is. Oh my gosh. But girl, past me, why did you not think about the door situation? Like definitely when you're looking at a place, think about, is this smart? Another thing I didn't really realize when I was moving was the kitchen. It's like 2 walls and then you kind of walk into the kitchen, if that makes sense. So besides the windows, there's not really much like free flowing, like, you know, feng shui energy. Like, no, it's just so it's very closed off. If I'm like burning my pancakes or something, it gets so smoky and it's really hard to air it out because there's just 2 walls. So this time moving forward, definitely a need of mine is to have an more open kitchen. And then next is renovation. Do you need it to be brand spanking new? That does increase the price. So is it worth it to you? Definitely that's something to think about before you're looking at apartments because it'll affect your budget. And then another thing is washer dryer. Is it important to you to have it in the unit so that you can do your laundry all the time? Or are you okay with walking over into like a laundry facility where you bring your clothes, put in the money, and then wash your clothes there and then wait for her to bring it back? Another thing I didn't really think about was what level do you want? So when we moved here, we chose the bottom level, which this time around, no. Like I am getting at least a second story unit because I can never open my curtains or like my windows because there's always people walking around. I'm like literally right at the entrance of the apartment. What is it called? Of the apartment like layout, like with the other buildings. Oh my god, I sound really stupid right now. You get what I'm talking about. I'm at the very front entrance, so if I open my windows, everyone driving by can like look in my window. So there's like no privacy. So just think about it. If natural lighting is important to you, you might want to be on a second story or at least in like a very corner or something where like people can't really watch you. And then, okay, so you got your wish list, you know your budget. Now you're ready to go look at apartments. What do? One thing to assess is the management. Are they nice to you? Are they professional? Do they have, like, is their office space really nice? Is it really tidy? Even if it's not, you know, fancy, are they at least tidy? Because, are they nice to you, first of all? Because when we were searching this time around, a different apartment, their outside looked super nice. They had a fountain. It was, like, 1,000,000 stories high. I was, like, super into it. But the apartment managers were so shitty. Like, we were standing there for like 10 minutes waiting to look for our unit because they had their lunch. We'll be back at 3 o'clock. It's lunchtime. Sign out. So we're like, okay, it's almost 3. We'll just wait. And then without even speaking to us, they just came back out, changed the sign, and ran back into their office. So we were sitting there waiting even longer. We were like, oh, fuck this. Hell no. You just lost out business. You know what I mean? Like, how... If they're going to treat you like that as someone who has not even signed the papers, given them the money yet, and your potential, you know, renters, why would you want to live in a place like that? That just shows how they're going to treat you once you actually live there. And I know you might be thinking like, oh, well, management, how should you even really talk to them? If you buy things online, they're probably going to be the ones holding your packages. If you have maintenance stuff, they're going to be the ones coordinating that. Also, speaking of maintenance, how do they get it done? Do you have to bring them a form? Do you just call them? Do you have to do it yourself? Where we live now, it's really easy. It's online, and then you just let them know what's going on, and they usually get it done within like the day. So definitely that's something to ask. Like, what is your maintenance like? What am I responsible for, and what can I get help with, and blah, blah, blah. We do not get charged for it. I don't know if other places do. That would be a good thing to ask. And then if you find something that you really, really like, and you're like, hey, I think I really like this place, I think I want to rent it, anything to do before I sign the papers? Yes, definitely run the water in the faucets, flush the toilet, look in the corners where you wouldn't even think about looking. Like, for example, after we started renting this place, next to the laundry washer, like on the wall, it was kind of like dirty. But I don't know if we did that. I don't know if it was already like that. So definitely, like, look in all the, like, corners, and I hate nooks and crannies. That's such a nasty word. But, yeah, do that. Look everywhere, and then make sure that it's clean and up to your standards, and then you're golden. Okay, so let's say you find the place, and you're in love with it, and the management's nice, maintenance all taken care of, everything is good. What do you do now to get the place? Most places will require... So this is like what you have to pay for. The security deposit, there's a refundable and a non-refundable. So where we live now, for example, $100 was a move-in fee. That's non-refundable. We just had to pay it to move in. Why? I don't know. They're going to give you some bullshit answer like, oh, you need to pay us that so we can put your name on the tenants list. Like, whatever. You can't really control that, so, I mean, just pay for it. Security deposit was $300. Okay. Now that I am an experienced mover, not really, because I've only lived in one place other than my parents' home, but something that I didn't realize before is that the the refundable portion of the security deposit, $300, we thought, okay, when we move out, as long as we have no major damages, we're gonna get all that back. No, look at your leasing agreement, because this place requires a fucking professional carpet cleaning, which is so dumb because only a tiny portion of the unit is carpeted. And they also require a full professional apartment cleaning before you leave. And they require all this stuff and make sure that everything is up to shape. And out of that $300, they take out the money for the cleaning and the carpet cleaning and any damages. So definitely when you're moving in, be very thorough when you do the walkthrough and make sure, like, if there's any ding or corner on anything, like if the knob is a little loose or whatever, make sure that it's noted. You did not do that. It was already like that before you moved in. Because, you know, they be charging you, okay? And you will not be getting that security deposit back. Next, the application fee. It's about $40 per person, depending on where you apply. It's going to be a little bit different. So for 2 people, it's like almost $90 for us. And then they will require first month's rent. If you do not move on the first, we did. But if you don't, they'll prorate the rest of the month, and then you owe that much. The differences between the different apartments, the ones that have like a company owner will most likely only require the first month's rent, but some of the smaller places that don't run such a thorough background check, they might require first and last month. So make sure you have the money up front for that. Luckily, they only required first month's rent here, but yeah, so that was good for us because we would not have been able to afford 2 months rent, if you know what I mean. Okay, next. So you have all the money, you're like, yes, let's do it. What do I do now? The application process. So you will fill out an application. It'll ask for your name, your age, your social security number, your address of where you live now, how long have you lived there, and where do you work, how much do you make, how long have you worked there. So the longer you work there, the better. If you are thinking like, okay, I want to move out in the next year or so, definitely start preparing for it now. Find a job that you do not hate and stick with it until you at least move there. That way you'll show that you are reliable. You don't just go from job to job and you might not be able to pay your bills. And then you'll have to back it up with a pay stub, so don't lie on the application because they will know. Next, okay, let's say you have applied, you love the place, you are ready to go. What now? What you need to move in, things that I didn't really think about. Honestly, when I got applied and I was like, hey, I'm gonna move out, what do I do? I didn't really know what to buy. I didn't know how to shop. I didn't know what I would need because, you know, when you're living at your parents' house, you have everything you need. And then I just bought like the extra stuff, like, oh, decorations and how am I going to organize the place and things like that. But don't forget that usually when you move out, your parents will not be giving you their stuff. You have to buy everything new. So, or not new, but like, you know what I mean, your own. This is, in my opinion, the basics of what you need. Start with this stuff first, and if you have extra money, then buy the other stuff. But one thing I didn't really think of is lighting. Our current apartment, like, if I show you, there's no light on the ceiling. There's no, like, switches. There's switches, but it's connected to the outlet. So you have to plug in your own light. Is that not the dumbest thing you've ever heard? So you have to buy lights, depending on the unit. You need some cooking utensils, because eating out gets pricey. And now that you have your own place, you have to pay for your own stuff, and you have to make food sometimes, at least. It's cooking utensils like tongs, spatula, but we ended up having to buy like can opener, whisk, like extra spoons and like big cooking spoons and stuff like that. You'll need plates and bowls, pots and pans, and then food. Okay, so this is starting out with all the kitchen stuff. Food. Like, I know that's so obvious, but at the same time, it's not. When you're buying food, buy the basics first. Like, olive oil, rice, I don't know, fucking canned tomatoes or beans or like frozen stuff is really helpful at first because it kind of like has more flexibility than buying it fresh. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted. I thought there was something in my nose, but I don't think so. Okay, and then for your bedroom, you will need a sleeping area. I don't say bed because beds are expensive, and starting out, we just use like these old like mattress things like for camping. That Shona's parents let us have, or I know my friends were using an air mattress. You could buy that for like less than $100. So that works fine for when you're first moving out. We actually DIY'd our bed, but more on that later. It'll be really helpful to have hangers because where are you going to put your clothes? If you put it all over your bedroom, you might think that it'd be easy to stay organized, but it's actually very difficult. So you'll need hangers, some sort of organizational system for your clothes, and you'll at least need like a laundry basket because, again, disorganization just makes life very difficult. And then for your bathroom, you'll need some, okay, these are like necessary. You'll need toilet paper, soap, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, a loofah of some sort, and towels. And then kind of extra, you'll need razors if you shave, and Q-tips, which is like a random thing that you probably don't even realize that you use, that you have to buy with money. And then lastly, if you have a period, you need to buy tampons or pads or whatever hygiene products you want to use. And then for the living room or just your place in general, you'll need seats. I know that sounds super obvious, but like couches are expensive. You can use like cushions if you can DIY them, or I don't know, like chairs. Like literally when we first moved, we got free chairs from like OfferUp or Craigslist or something, because chairs are so expensive. Anyways, some weird things that I didn't even realize you need to buy is a can opener. Garbage cans are like expensive. What the heck? They hold garbage. And you'll need shelving. That's something that we didn't get for a long time, like too many months, because I just didn't think about it. But where's your stuff gonna go? You can't put everything on the floor. And then rugs. I still haven't gotten a rug for the living room, and it's freaking freezing in the living room. So I probably should have started out with that. Oh, by the way, that's why I say seating, because if you have carpet, you can just sit on the floor. But if you have like hardwood, it's really cold. So you'll need somewhere to sit. And then you also need to buy Tupperware, which is like really random. Curtains and rods. Did you know that the curtain rod doesn't come with the apartment? You have to buy that yourself. You have to buy the part that puts it into the wall, and you have to buy the actual rod, and you have to buy the actual curtains. It's kind of annoying. And then again, lighting. I just can't get over that. I don't understand why they don't include that in the place. Okay, so let's say you have all your stuff ready, you know where you're gonna live. Let's talk about month to month what it looks like. Your bills will include rent, utilities. Some places include it in the rent, some places don't. If they don't, you'll be paying for garbage and water and sewage. Sewage, garbage and water. Some places require other things like parking and like extra stuff. If you have animals, they're going to cost more. Do you see how much of an not a pet person I am? I just said animals instead of pets. Sorry. I know some of you treat your dogs and cats like your children. So if you have pets, if you have pet children, they will cost more money. And then Puget Sound Energy, okay, well, that's what mine is called because I live in Washington. But you'll have to pay energy bills, which is separate. And then Wi-Fi and cable, not really a must. We didn't have it for a few months, but, you know, definitely makes your life easier, especially if you work at home or something. Car payments, if you have a car. Car insurance, if you drive. Renter's insurance is a must. You can either pay for it all at once. You can split it into 4s or pay month to month. I think per month it's only like $8 or something. So we just paid it all at once for the year. And then lastly, any financed items. So if you have a big purchase that you can't pay all up front, for example, my wedding ring, we financed it, so we make monthly payments on it. Not me, he. But anyways, yeah, we have to pay for it every month. And then some extra stuff that vary month to month. So all these bills, it'll be pretty set, so it's easy to budget. Some extra stuff that you'll have to pay a little more attention to is food. You will be surprised at how quickly food racks up. Actually, no. If you are someone that pays for your own food, you will probably know how much it costs. Gas. Fun items, like if you want to go out, if you want to go to activity, if you want to go out to eat, anything like that. It's all considered fun things that you probably don't budget for, but you should. And then lastly, especially around the holiday season, gifts. That's something that you definitely want to plan out, how much you want to spend on that, because that can add up quickly. You definitely want to make sure that you're not spending your rent money for the next month. Okay. That, I think, is all the logistics that I have to tell you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Lastly, for this section is some advice. DIYing is everything. If you or a roommate or a friend or a parent is really good with like DIY crafts and stuff, that would be so helpful. We DIY'd our kitchen table, like our dining table and our bed, and it saved us so much money. And we DIY'd other things along the way, but definitely Pinterest or like even Google, like different people's blogs. Like if you want to know how to make something, there's instructions for that and it's way cheaper. My next advice is to stay organized. You want to keep your budgeting and like your plans and your payments, and even just like when you're first thinking about how to set up your room, if you pre-plan it out before shoving all your furniture in the room, it'll make it way easier. And then my next piece of advice is to know what you want and to stick to it. This time around, like I knew definitely more what I wanted than when I was first searching for an apartment. And it's really hard to like stick with it, especially a budget. It's really easy to get swayed up in like apartment amenities like pool and, you know, theater rooms and things like that. But if you know that that's not something that's necessary for you, like don't be tempted. Just don't even look at it. Don't look at apartments that are less than what you want and way over what you need. Next, buy essentials first. Like I said, when I first moved out, I bought like fucking like useless stuff to decorate, and because I never really got the essentials to have a complete room in the first place, the decorations didn't do anything. So definitely start out with what you need first, and then you can kind of buy pieces to make it feel more like home and more comfortable. And then next, clean regularly. When you are living at home and your parents nagging at you all the time, you know, you have a constant reminder to tidy up. But when you're living alone, it's really easy to forget about, you know, like vacuuming or cleaning the toilet or scrubbing your kitchen sink or cleaning garbage disposal, stuff like that. Like, it's easy to forget that. So if you have like a weekly, monthly routine, then it'll be way easier to stick with it. And then definitely if you have roommates or even if you're living with a significant other like I am, definitely at least go over everything that you expect. Like me and Shota haven't had like a real roommate argument because we kind of know what we expect out of each other. If we have guests coming over, we let each other know. With other roommates, what I would discuss is guests, food. Are you guys going to be splitting it half and half? Are you going to have like a monthly budget and buy food out of that? Are you going to have your own sides of the refrigerator? Are you allowed to make food for the other person? Are you allowed to touch the other person's food? Like, all that stuff. It sounds like really small things, but it's really easy. If you don't discuss these things beforehand, I can see it being really easy to have arguments with your roommate. That's the last thing you want, is to have, you know, fights and arguments with the person that you're living with and splitting bills with. I would definitely pick a trustworthy person to room with. And last but not least, super corny, but have fun. Like, you are now an independent person. You live in your own place. Like, if you want to fucking eat breakfast at, you know, 9 p.m. in your underwear, you can do that, you know, besides roommates. But you can do literally whatever you want at any hour you want. You can make your place completely how you want it. And so, sorry, I'm like shaking. It's because I shake my leg a lot. But it's definitely a challenge sometimes, like meeting your budget and paying for bills and all that stuff. But I don't regret moving out at all. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone that is up for the challenge. And again, I'm here to help. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I had a lot of fun sharing everything that I learned, and I really hope it's helpful to someone. And I just want to be encouraging and let you know that even if it doesn't seem like you have the resources, or if you're not grown up enough to live on your own, you can definitely do it. Because I did it, so there's no reason why you can't do it. And now I'm rambling, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. Sorry, this is like a super long video. I just wanted it to be super informative and helpful. And until I see you guys next time, bye. Mwah. Good luck renting.